In this video, we're going to talk about repeating decimals, converting to fractions. Before we talk about repeating decimals, I did want to talk about how to convert any decimal into a fraction briefly. For example, we have the decimal that looks like this. Now, a lot of us tend to say 0.4, myself included, but we really want to make sure that we're using proper terminology, because that proper terminology is going to actually tell us the fraction by naming it correctly. Okay, so if I read this number with accuracy, I would call it 4/10. In other words, 4/10. Nice and simple, and then from there we simply simplify it by dividing both the numerator and denominator by 2, and I get 2/5 as my final answer. So read the actual decimal, and that's how we convert a basic decimal into a fraction. However, we are talking specifically today about what happens when I have a repeating decimal. Common repeating decimal we will see is 0.3 repeating. Now, I can't just use this 3/10 to help me out, because it's really 3 forever and ever and ever and ever over however many spots, right? So what we're going to do is we are going to use a special rule when it comes to repeating decimals that's called C-align, the repeating line. We're going to write a 9. Okay, so I see a line here, right? Everyone agree? And I'm going to put a 3 over a 9. Now I'm going to simplify by 3 in this case, and I end up with 1/3. Now if I were to put this in a calculator, 1 divided by 3 does indeed give me 1/3. I can use that rule that I saw in the previous video too, right? 3 goes into 1 0 times, but it goes into 10 3 times. So 3 times 3 equals 9, and then I get 1 again. So I see that I'm going to do the 3 times 3 forever and ever and ever and ever and ever, and it's going to keep going. Okay? So 1/3 is the equivalent to 0 and 3/10 repeating. That C-align right a 9 is going to continue to work for us though, even if we have mixed fraction type numbers. All right? So I have 1 and then I have 18/100ths repeating. Okay? C-align right a 9 means I'm going to write a 9 for every time I see a number appear after the decimal place. So in this case, I have 2 numbers, so I'm going to write 18/99. Okay? In the previous example, we just had the 3, so it was 1 and 3 over, or it was just 3/9. Okay? Now here, we can simplify this. I'm going to do that. I'm going to use my 1 whole separately though. Anything before the decimal is going to stay before the decimal, and it's not going to count for this process. Okay? So I have 1 whole, and then 18/99, they're both divisible by 9, right? 18 divided by 9 is 2. 99 divided by 9 is 11. And we get our final simplification of 1 and 2/11. Last example before we go ahead and move on to some practice on your own. 8765 repeating. Now I want you to, on your hand, just put up however many fingers you think we are going to write number of 9s, right? Because I see a line, so I'm going to write a 9. Okay, 8765 is going to be my numerator, and the part that is repeating has 4 numbers. If we can simplify, we should, but this is simple enough. 8,765 over 9,999. Now, I do want to point out that there is a slightly more complex rule for numbers that are like 0.12, and then we're just repeating the 6s forever. We are not going to cover those this year. It is not relevant to our current curriculum, but I do want to point out that the C-align right a 9 rule specifically applies when the repeating bar is over everything that's in the decimal places, not when it starts a little ways into the decimal place. Okay, so we won't worry about those today, but we will worry about the C align right to 9 rule. Anytime you have a repeating bar following a decimal point, that's what we're working with. Have fun.